just start off this little meditation with a nice deep breath in. So breathing in, notice how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clenching the sphincter muscle, the muscle you use to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. So you lock the energy in. Just draw the energy up the spine into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart to connect in with your heart space. Bring your attention into the present moment fully. Breathing in again, drawing the energy up the spine into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. And you smile. And just scan your mind. So noticing if there are any problems that you're holding on to. Problems can take many forms. Whatever the form of the problem is, could be with a person, a relationship issue, financial problems, health problems, so on and so on. Whatever it is, observe it. Look at the thoughts, the emotions surrounding the problem, and then just observe the feeling, observe what it feels like to be stuck in the problem consciousness. And if you're honest, it doesn't feel really good at all. So just breathe in, nice deep breath in through the nose. And just creating some space in your mind. Remind yourself that this problem has already been solved. Say to yourself, let me recognize this problem has been solved. Because in oneness, in eternity, this problem does not exist. And so you exhale, just breathe it all out. Breathing it all out, letting it go. Imagine you blowing problem and the energy of it away like a dark smoke. Just leaving you, leaving your body, leaving your energy system. Blow it all away, pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just rest for a few moments in the peace and the stillness. Come from the truth. You let go of the belief in your problems, then the answer is given you. So Jesus is saying here very clearly, one problem and one solution. You are entitled to peace today. Because a problem that has been resolved cannot trouble you. Only be certain you do not forget that all problems are the same. And many forms will not deceive you while you remember this. One problem, one solution. Accept the peace this simple statement brings. So claim the peace that must be yours. When the problem and the answer have been brought together, the only problem is separation. When you recognize that, then the one answer becomes obvious. Oneness, atonement, is the answer to separation. And the answer's already been given. So the problem must be gone. Because God's answer love's answer to the dream of separation you made cannot fail. Having recognized one, in other words, as a problem, you've also recognized the other, which is the solution. The solution is inherent in the problem. So separation was a separation from oneness. The solution of oneness is inherent in the problem. Simply let go of your belief in the separation and the solution is given you. Then you are answered and you have accepted the answer. You are saved or awakened. Now you just watch your breath, so the breath flowing in and out through the nostrils, the breath just breathe you. Let that take you into the peace that your acceptance of the answer brings to you. Just let it arise, let it envelop you, sinking deeply into it. Deeper and deeper with each breath as you observe the breath. Go deeper into the peace. That this acceptance of the one answer inevitably brings, and the problem and the answer have been brought together. You must be at peace. Because the problem is gone. The answer of love, perfect love, oneness cannot fail. It's the truth of your mind, it's the truth of who you are. It's a natural state of your mind. So you cannot fail to see it. Recognize that your problems have been solved. All of them. There are no exceptions. Recognize that you are out of conflict. Free and at peace. And breathe this peace in, deep, deep peace. Imagine you breathing it in to every pore, every muscle, every cell, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. There's nowhere else to go, there's nothing else to do. Nothing else to think about, just breathe, relax and be still. Surrender into the stillness. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Breathe, relax, and be still. Sink inwards to the peace that lies at the foundation of your mind. Peace that comes from knowing that all of your problems have been solved. Recognize that your problems have been solved, all of them, not sometime in the future, but right now. In this state of mind, a state of perfect oneness, there are no problems. Recognize that you are out of conflict, free and at peace. Above all, remember that you have one problem, and that the problem has one solution. It is in this that the simplicity of salvation or awakening lies. It is because of this that it is guaranteed to work. If any problems remain in your mind, just notice them and remind yourself whenever any specific problem arises. Let me recognize this problem has been solved. And then just let go and sink into the peace that this gives you, going deeper and deeper into it with each breath. Step back, watch the breath, observe the breath just happening to you, through you, and for you. No conscious stressing, straining, or striving. Just sink inwards, going deeper and deeper with each breath, and into the deep peace beyond all problems, beyond all separation, into the experience of the answer to the problem, the one answer to all problems, being oneness, perfect love, pure, formless awareness. So let that arise in your mind, let it encompass your mind, envelop you, just disappear into it. There's nowhere where it begins and you end. It's the alpha and the omega, it's the beginning and the ending. There is no beginning and ending. It's the infinite, eternal nature of you. So smile and sink into it. Deeper and deeper with each breath. Into Jesus calls the kingdom of heaven the state of pure formless awareness. Let that arise, let it envelop you, encompass you. Surrender to it completely for the next couple of minutes of deep silence. Also, just gently bringing yourself back into a deep, peaceful state, into an awareness of the body and the breath and the senses and the world. So, count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. Just breathing in. 1, just noticing the stomach rise and the chest rise. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench your sphincter muscle, notice that squeezing motion. All the energy rising up the spine. Maybe you put one hand in your heart center and you draw it up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Nice deep breath in. So again, just scan your mind. Notice any problems lurking there. The idea of a problem, an emotion related to it. It feels kind of limiting, contracted, constricting. Notice that. Remind yourself once more that whatever this problem is has already been solved. There is no problem because the idea of separation, that is the only problem that leads to all other problems. That idea has been let go of. So your problem has been solved. Mental, emotional level. And then it plays out on the physical level in certain ways. You must do it mentally and emotionally first. So exhale and just blow that problem away out of your mind, out of your energy system. It's not real. All the stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just rest here. And peace and stillness for a few moments in the gap between breaths. Appreciate the peace that comes from this problem-free state of mind. And on the count of 2, notice the weight of your body, pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling with your hands touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, a smell in your nose. Breathe in. Notice any smells, you do that. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things. Very still, calm and surrendered state. Without attachment, without judgment. This deep peace that you experienced, a peace of being problem-free, is always there, so notice that. Anchor the state in, stay there for the rest of the session in the evening. Set that intention, so it is said, so it is done. And now on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. And just take a minute to look around, observing various objects in the room in a very calm, detached way. So you don't have to name anything, label it, judge it in any way, just observe it. Notice how it doesn't really matter what you're looking at or what you're hearing, whatever you're perceiving. Your underlying awareness is the same. It's a very deep, peaceful awareness. And in this awareness, there are no problems. Problems come in when you interpret, name and judge and label your sense perceptions. And then you create an interpretation and a story that leads to negative thoughts and emotions that then disturbs your pure formless awareness and your peace of mind. And that's how the ego works. So try and stay rooted in this problem-free consciousness. Keep some awareness in the breath to help you stay connected to this deeper awareness. As we continue on the session, we'll have a look at today's lesson. So brings us to the end of the meditation. So let's have a look at the text. This one's called the Invitation to Healing. And so we're going to have a little read of this, and we'll do a translation as we go. So I'm just going to create another document. And so as we do this, Kim, as we go, and we're actually creating a translated version of the course. Which, lesson 79. Okay, so we want so that we'll actually have okay, day 45 is already there. All right, so let's have a little look-see. Invitation to Healing. 7 paragraphs, isn't too long. So let's gonna paste it in here. Paste it in, and we can do some translation, I think. So, Iona, you still with us? No, we are. Iona's gone. So,
whoops,
Kim,
no, I haven't.
Oh, you're still there. Good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you were. Once I remember you were gone on the sofa. It was like, Iona's out. So I just left. I just left you to meditate.
That's true. Yeah, no, I was really tired earlier on this afternoon, and yeah, so I went to bed.
Okay, so you feel a bit refreshed for the session. Okay, so Kim, do you want to kick it off with paragraph 1? So read the original, and then we'll translate it.
Okay. So before I do, I'm just looking at Iona and Kenneth. It looks very bright there still.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about 8:30 where you are, right?
It's 8:30.
But it looks like daytime when
Yeah. Well, technically it's
It's
7:30.
still very bright there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's they're north of Scotland. So, what time is it getting light? Getting dark there? Yeah, nice. Okay, I haven't seen out your window.
Aha, yeah, that's my window. That's my view.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. The garden, yeah, lovely
Looking
spot.
right out onto Fenthorn Bay. This road is
Beautiful.
incredibly close by,
Yeah.
and the cars really scream down the road. But a lot of the time it's very quiet as well. So
Yeah.
we're happy, and we get this view. So it'll be dark in about an hour, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah.
5:30? Yeah, 9:30. 8:30.
Sure.
Yeah, daylight
That's
saving.
lovely.
It gives them an extra hour as well. So you have these long evenings.
True.
Is lovely. It's a great idea. We don't have it here.
No.
I can't imagine what would happen if they tried. I can just imagine huge confusion. Can you imagine? Massive confusion. They're like, hey. No, don't even go there. I'm not sure it would work either, because we don't actually have that much time, that much change in the like it changes like by maybe a couple of hours between winter and summer.
Wow.
It's not a massive, like, not a massive change. So yeah. Okay, so what am I doing? Yeah, I'm doing that. So it's delete all this, and we'll do an alternative. Oh, it's done that because it's anchored in it anyway. Okay, so number 1. You want to read the original, and then we'll translate.
Is that me?
No, it was Kim.
It's me.
Kim?
Sorry. Okay, so if sickness is separation, the decision to heal and to be healed is the first step towards recognizing what you truly want. Every attack is a step away from this, and every healing thought brings it closer. The Son of God has both Father and Son, because he is both Father and Son. To unite, having and being, is to unite your will with his, for he wills you himself. And you will yourself to him, because in your perfect understanding of him, you know there is but one will. Yet when you attack any part of God and his kingdom from your understanding is not perfect, and what you really want is therefore lost to you.
Yeah. So let's see if we can translate it. So you're going to read it again from the top, and we'll just translate as we go and unpack it as you go as well. I may as well. Any thoughts on any of it?
If sickness is separation, the decision to heal and to be healed is the first step towards recognizing what you truly want. Every attack is a step away from this, and every healing thought brings you closer.
Okay, any thoughts on those 2 sentences?
So unpack that. Yeah, it's talking about opposites. Separation. So if you in separation and you make a decision to heal and to be healed, because think they both go hand in hand. It's one needs one heals, one is healed. Sorry, my connection's unstable, but sorry, Johnny, I don't know if it's just my screen, but I'm seeing some icons pop up.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's sort of fading, but okay. TLB is the first step towards recognizing what you truly want. So what you truly want is oneness, but so a healing thought will bring you closer to that. Whereas if you have an attack thought or something which is leads to an attack of some kind, it's a step away from that. So it's going back to separation. So an attack thought leads to separation, whereas the healing thought brings you closer to
Oneness.
Oneness and what you truly want.
To heal and be healed. So the idea is that you heal others and you're healed. It's the first step towards recognizing what you truly want. Yeah, so it's the start of this awakening. It's to say, yes, I actually I want to heal, I want peace, and I'm willing to go there. I'm willing to change my mind. Okay. So number 3. Remember what the Son of God is?
No, I don't know if it's awareness or return to awareness or awareness of awareness.
Sun is extension.
Oh yeah, extension of formless awareness.
Yeah.
Of pure formless awareness. Extension of pure formless awareness.
Yeah, we decided we're going to go with the alternative, perfect love or pure formless awareness. Because both are true, and one might do it for you and one might not. So the extension of perfect love or pure formless awareness has both. Remember what Father is?
No. What's a perfect love? I don't know if Father is considered God in the sense.
Source. Has both source and
extension of perfect love.
Yeah, we'll just call it extension. So we are both source and extension. Because he is both of them. He is both. And what he's saying really is that the source is the extension. There's no difference between them really. We'll use the idea of an extension or a sun because we seem to be separated from our source. So in separation that seems to be meaningful, that there's a Son of God. But actually in truth, in perfect oneness, by definition, perfect oneness is, we maybe change, I think perfect love, perfect oneness. That also works. Extension of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness has both source and extension. So in perfect oneness, they are one. By definition, perfect oneness is not separate. There's no separation in it. It's one awareness. So source and extension merge into one. There's no idea. I mean, all these ideas, we're using language, these are all ideas of separation. Source and its extension. But hang on, there's only perfect oneness. That's all that's ultimately true. So he's saying, we are both source and extension. We are that oneness that is both of these, merged as one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Number 4 then.
To unite, having a being is to unite your will with perfect oneness's will.
Okay. So I translate. Will is awareness.
Or source.
So will is awareness. To unite your awareness, because that's really what he means. Your awareness with its. His becomes.
Okay.
Okay. Continue.
Or it wills you itself.
Mm. And we try and translate will as awareness. It's not always easy. So any ideas on for it wills you itself? Let's ask Iona. She's a bit more familiar with this. What would you say for it wills you itself? How do we translate that?
Awareness with its, for it wills you itself. It wills. Well, that's knacky.
Is there a better way of saying that? Or do we just leave it as it is? For it.
Itself. Yeah, it's all right for me.
It's quite difficult to translate the word wills.
No.
It intends you itself. Doesn't really work.
What was that word you used?
Intends.
Intends you itself.
It intends you itself.
I think it's going to have to be a use of the wills.
Yeah. I'm not sure we can really. There's no verb really for awareness. It awares you itself.
Awares you itself. And vision is not right. No.
No, it's kind of it's an intention, and will is probably the best. I don't know how to translate that, so we'll just leave it. And we'll only translate where it makes sense. For it, it wills you itself. We'd have to change the structure of the sentence. You could say it is aware of you as itself. That would be a way of translating that. What do you think? It is aware of you as itself. So maybe changing the sense of it a little bit. Still true.
I really like that.
What? It is aware of you as itself.
Yeah.
Okay, we can stick it in. It's not exactly what he's saying, but it's very similar. It is aware of you as itself. I mean, well, what is that but to will you itself?
Yeah.
Aware of you as itself. It's certainly interesting. It's like makes you think, doesn't it?
Well, it sure does.
It is aware of you as itself. Okay. God is aware. This awareness is aware of me as itself. Okay. If I allow that awareness in, then I'm aware of me as, I'm aware of myself as this presence, and it's aware of me as itself.
Yes.
And that's the unity of the Son and the Father right there. There's a united awareness. So that's kind of what he's talking about. So, yeah. Well, shall we go with it is aware of you as itself?
I like that.
Okay. And you will yourself to him And you, yeah, well, if you use the same thing, you are aware of yourself.
You're aware of yourself in him.
Yeah. You are aware of yourself. As it.
Yeah.
Maybe change it to as. Perfect oneness, or you are aware of yourself. What have we changed here? You will yourself to him. Yeah, so we changed it quite a lot. As does that make sense, Kim? To you? Yes, you. Kim? Is Kim still there?
Just reading it.
Yeah.
I'm reading it. I'm here.
Yeah. Then you are aware of yourself as perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. In your perfect understanding of it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You know there is but one will. There is but one, and then will we translate as awareness.
Yeah, it does.
So if you read the two, you will yourself to him. So to unite having and being is to unite your will with his, for he wills you himself. And you will yourself
You
to
know
him
that there is
because in your
but one
perfect
awareness.
no, there's but one awareness. So then read the alternates from number 4. And read that. Aloud, ideally. Okay. Kim, you hearing me? If you read to unite having and from there to there.
Sorry, aloud. Oh, aloud.
Yeah, aloud, yes.
Yeah, but you're frozen. I can hear you, but your picture's frozen.
Oh, really? Okay. Iona, is my video frozen for you as well?
No, it's okay.
Right. Okay. It's probably your bandwidth. So just read that again. Just make sure you're happy with it.
To unite having and being is to unite your awareness with its, for it is aware of you as itself. Okay. And you are aware of yourself as perfect oneness or pure formless awareness, because in your perfect understanding of it, you know there is but one awareness. I think it's just talking about, if you want to call it source or perfect oneness, you're aware that you are part of it, and it's aware of you, and it's all one.
It's aware of you, you're aware of it, and there's one awareness. You know there's but one awareness. So there's no separation.
Yeah.
It's aware of you, you're aware of it, and you merge in that one awareness. And that's the truth. And I think that kind of works. In some ways, it adds something to, you compare it to this, to unite having and being, is to unite your will with his, for he wills you himself. And you will yourself to him, because in your perfect understanding of him, you know there is but one will. This It's saying the same thing, but I think it adds something to it, which is the idea of a translation. Okay, happy with that. So number
Last
6.
sentence. When you attack any part of pure love and not sure about his kingdom.
Yeah, so we'll just do that. Any part of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness, and his is its. And kingdom's a tricky one, but if you haven't been doing our sessions, then you wouldn't know. So let's ask Iona to help you out. Kingdom is?
Oh, state. Oh,
Yeah. Well, its state.
thank you.
That's all you need, really. So the perfect oneness or pure formless awareness and its state. Well, okay, so you're in the state of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. That's the kingdom of heaven. So it makes it really practical, isn't it? Okay, it's a state of mind. That's what it is. When you're in that state, then you're understanding. When you attack any part of it, then your understanding is not perfect.
Mm.
What you really want is therefore lost to you. Okay, so do you want to read the whole thing from the top? Just let's make sure it all reads correctly. Are we happy with it?
Okay.
Yep.
If sickness is separation, the decision to heal and to be healed is the first step towards recognizing what you truly want. Every attack is a step away from this, and every healing thought brings it closer. The extension of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness has both source and extension because he is both source and extension. To unite having and being is to unite your awareness with its, for it is aware of you as itself, and you are aware of yourself as perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. Because in your perfect understanding of it, you know that there is but one awareness. Yet when you attack any part of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness and its state, your understanding is not perfect, and what you really want is therefore lost to you.
Okay, happy with that. Thought that could maybe do with a comma over there. And I made he into she. So we're going to do this as gender neutral. Sometimes use he, sometimes use she.
Mm.
So
Okay. Yeah, we can. When you say, like in Finnish, in the Finnish language, hen, there are no male and female pronouns. It's all hen.
Really? Okay. Well, that's useful.
Yeah. Because hen is both source and extension.
Yeah. She is both source and extension. So limitations of language, she, he, but we decided to say he or she. It gets very cumbersome. So we pick one or the other.
Yeah.
And go with that, just alternate. Okay, so happy with that? You want to give a little summary of that? What's that paragraph saying?
If one is sick or separation, if one decides to be in a state of willingness to be healed as well, to heal and to be healed. Sorry, don't know.
Yeah. You still need the.
Yeah. One recognizes that one's awareness and pure formless awareness and one's awareness are one. But if one is one attacks any part of that pure formless awareness, then it's less than perfect, and it means that you're not really aware and not, not getting closer to pure formless awareness and oneness.
And that it's aware of you as itself, and you're aware of it as yourself. That's really, because there's but one awareness. So your awareness is its is yours. This is the merging of the Father and the Son into a one awareness, which just makes complete sense, really. Well, yeah, of course it would be one awareness, but the ego split it. We think we're in another awareness, which is the whole problem. Okay, so happy with paragraph 1?
Yep.
Okay, so number 2. Do you want to read it from the top, and then we'll do the translation?
Okay. Healing thus becomes a lesson in understanding, and the more you practice it, the better teacher and learner you become. If you have denied truth, what better witnesses to its reality could you have than those who have been healed by it? But be sure to count yourself among them, for in your willingness to join them is your healing accomplished. Every miracle that you accomplish speaks to you of the fatherhood of God. Healing thought that you accept, either from your brother or in your own mind, teaches you that you are God's son. In every hurtful thought you hold, wherever you perceive it, lies a denial of God's fatherhood and of your sonship. Okay. So,
all right, so you want to unpack it? Let's just translate it and unpack it as we go. All right, so.
Well, it's like love in healing is like love in action, really. It's you're living it and experiencing it and teaching it all at once. So yeah, I have denied the truth in me, and I do count myself among those who are being healed by this process, and by being willing, my healing is accomplished and being accomplished. So every miracle or correction that I accomplish speaks to you accomplish speaks to you of the well, Father is source. Are we using the term sourcehood or source of perfect love?
Yeah, sourcehood is a bit cumbersome, so I think we'll just go with source.
Source is meter.
Yeah, the source of just source of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness.
Every healing thought that you accept, either from your brother or in your own mind, teaches you that you are the extension of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness.
Okay.
In every hurtful thought you hold, wherever you perceive it, lies the denial of the source of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. and of your extension.
Extension of it. How does that work?
Yes.
Sonship. So it's like your extension ship, but obviously that doesn't work. So of your extension
Of it.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want to read it from the top?
Healing thus becomes a lesson in understanding, and the more you practice it, the better teacher and learner you become. If you have denied truth, what better witness to its reality could you have than those who have been healed by it? But be sure to count yourself among them, for in your willingness to join them is your healing accomplished. Every correction that you accomplish speaks to you of the source of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. Every healing thought that you accept, either from your brother or in your own mind, teaches you that you are the extension of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. In every hurtful thought you hold, wherever you perceive it, lies the denial of source of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness and of your extension of it. You could maybe ditch that second last of and your extension of it. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Now the source of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness and your extension of it. Yeah. Yeah. Because you've got the of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of repetition. We could cut out some of this, but I think it's quite nice to repeat it.
Well,
it has kind of the source of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. You're saying it over and over again. I'm the extent. It's like that's part of the mind training that's involved.
it's a bit like a mantra.
Yeah, perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. Perfect one or pure. And you say both. It's like you're getting a double whammy on the name of God.
Mm.
I think, and critics might say, well, that's why have you put two? Why have you put two phrases when there was one short phrase? You've made it longer, but it's like perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. You keep saying that, it just does something to the mind, I think. So I think we'll keep it. So that makes sense. Any comments on that?
Well, there's lovely repetition in every healing thought and in every hurtful thought. The first one is the accepting, and the second one is the denial. So there's a lovely rhythm in that sentence 5 and 6. And I can see the next verse is about denying part of yourself. I was just realizing that when I get physically tired and cold, I can get very I can get a bit negative and forgetful, and have hurtful thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you find when you're in a weakened state, then the ego often comes calling, and you find these hurtful thoughts coming up, and you have to just do some correction. Try and restore your if you're tired, okay, we'll meditate or get some sleep. Restore yourself into a state where you're like, no, I'm actually okay now. That's your priority. Which is why, ultimately we're trying to transcend lifestyle and habits and so on in this world, but putting in place a good structure where you're nurturing yourself, you're not overtired, you've got decent food, you can keep reasonably warm, all of this creates the structure for you to do this kind of work.
Definitely.
If you were, sitting outside in the freezing cold, it's just like probably not going to work, is it?
Mm.
It's you just, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs kicks in, and you're like, I'm freezing cold and I need something to eat, and forget this stuff. I need to sort out, some basics first.
Some basics first.
No.
Yeah.
So this comes when we'll get that kind of stuff sorted, and then you go into, self-actualization and beyond in Maslow's hierarchies. Beyond self-actualization, we're transcendent states. Most people don't know he actually had 8 levels, not 5.
Transcendence being one.
Yeah, so he went into transcendent states and what do you call peak states, peak experience.
Oh yeah.
Were in his, but interestingly, they kind of didn't teach that at university. Someone said, was it Lucy? Someone said, no, was it Elaine? She said, no, it's Elaine. So Elaine studied this stuff, industrial psychology. She said, why didn't, they taught Maslow, but they only taught his 5 up to self-actualization. They ignored the later model that he developed, where he included transcendent, transpersonal states and peak experiences, which he maintained were the same as mystic experiences. There was no difference between a peak experience and a mystic experience.
Right.
He just changed the language because it was more acceptable.
Yeah.
So then that gets taken out of the curriculum because we've got to stop at self-actualization. That's far enough. But transpersonal, we don't want to go into. It's too dangerous. Interesting. So it's in there. Yeah, it's in Maslow as well. But what he points out is very difficult to do self-actualization and reach transcendent states until you've got some basics.
Yeah, exactly.
Going for most people.
Yeah.
Some of these gurus like Ramana just woke up, but he'd kind of woken up already, and then he just blissed out. So he wasn't really interested in food or body maintenance, none of that. But he'd already got there. He'd already transcended, and then he just sat in his superconscious state and was like, well, food is irrelevant, and like whether insects are chewing my body or not it really doesn't matter because I'm already there. Whereas if you're not there, then you're going to struggle to get into that state from a state of deprivation and lack and feeling cold and tired, and so it's getting those basics in place. Okay, so happy with number 2?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to number 3 then, Kim. You can read that for us. Aloud, ideally.
And denial is as total as love. You cannot deny part of yourself. Can you hear me?
Sort of. It's quite broken up. Oh. Must be your connection. Try again. Start again at the top. So here we go.
And denial is as total as love. You cannot deny part of yourself because the rest will seem to be separate and therefore without meaning. And being without meaning, can you scroll down?
Yeah, it's actually at the top one. So it's just repeated, but it's fine.
And being without meaning to you, you will not understand it. To deny meaning is to fall to understand. To deny meaning is to fail to understand. You can heal only yourself, for only God's Son needs healing. You need it because you do not understand yourself and therefore know not what you do. Having forgotten your will, you do not know what you really want.
Okay, so let's go through that and do a little translation, shall we? So any thoughts as we go? Do you want to just unpack it? So alternatively, Denial is as total as love.
I don't understand that sentence.
You don't. Okay. And denial is as total as love.
Yeah.
What are you struggling with there?
Love is total.
In denial. I'm
Yeah.
reading it as comparing the denial to love. As total as love.
So what he's saying here is the nature of this is that if you deny love, then that denial becomes as total as the state of love. Because it's one or the other. So you're either in total denial of love or you're in love. It's one or the other. So you cannot deny part of yourself. The rest will seem to be separate and therefore without meaning. So if we engage in this denial of love, then it's a total denial. You deny love anyway, then you deny it totally, and you in the ego's thought system of separation.
Wow.
It's one or the other. You cannot deny part of yourself, because the rest will seem to be separate and therefore without meaning. Right? So as soon as you deny oneness, it becomes a total thought system that denies love or oneness. The rest will seem to be separate and therefore without meaning. So deny part of yourself, who you really are, and the rest will seem to be separate and therefore without meaning. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So the rest of what you think you haven't denied will still seem to be separate because of your denial, and therefore, because it's separate, it's without meaning. The separation is meaningless by definition. Okay, and then number 3.
And being without meaning to you, you will not understand it. To deny meaning is to fail to understand. Can heal only yourself, only pure formless, only extension of pure formless awareness needs healing. Extension.
Only perfect love's extension needs healing. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you deny meaning, you fail to understand. You heal only yourself. Or only you need healing. Only perfect love's extension needs healing.
You need it because you do not understand yourself and therefore know not what you do. Having forgotten your will, you do not know what you really want.
Okay. So having forgotten your what was will. Will is?
I don't know. Okay.
So having forgotten your
Awareness, true awareness. Okay.
true awareness, you do not know what you really want. So having done this denial, crazy denial thing, we don't understand ourselves, and therefore we don't know what we're doing. Again, he's kind of saying, well, you're really clueless, because you do not understand yourself, and therefore know not what you do. Okay. You're basically clueless. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Having forgotten your true awareness, you do not know what you really want. So you don't know what you're doing. You don't understand who you are. You don't know what you really want. All in all, you're pretty clueless. And this is what the denial of love has done to you, done to your mind. Okay? So you want to summarize that paragraph?
Or if you deny yourself, it's, I mean, you can't deny just some of yourself. You are denying all of it. And it means that you are separate and with no meaning, and you won't understand it either. You can heal yourself. Only perfect love extension needs healing. I don't know why it says for only perfect extension, because the Son,
God's
only
Son.
the Son needs healing.
Yeah.
So, and you need it because if you've denied yourself, you do not understand it. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't really know what you really want because you've forgotten your true awareness. And to heal is to return to your true awareness.
Huh. So really, denial is, if we deny any part of love, then we put ourselves in a position where we don't understand ourselves, we don't understand what we're doing, we don't know what we really want. It's total chaos and confusion ensues from this denial of our true selves. All right, so happy with number 3? Moving on to number 4 then. So you can read that, Iona.
Healing is a sign that you want to make whole. And this willingness opens your ears to the voice of the Holy Spirit, whose message is wholeness. He will enable you to go far beyond the healing you would undertake, for beside your small willingness to make whole, he will lay his own complete will and make yours whole. What can the Son of God not accomplish with the fatherhood of God in him? And yet the invitation must come from you. For you have surely learned that whom you invite as your guest will abide with you. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Whom you invite as your guest will abide with you.
Yes.
So be careful which guests you invite into your home.
True. Okay. So it goes back to his, we just need to show a tiny bit of willingness to heal, and the whole of perfect pure formless awareness is right there. Up to us to make the sign. So healing my mind is a sign I want to make whole, and this awareness opens your ears to the voice of the remembrance of oneness.
I think we'll keep it as willingness.
Okay.
I'm happy with that. Your willingness to heal.
Yes.
You want to make whole, he's talking about. So willingness. So it's a willingness to undertake this healing,
Yeah.
This willingness opens your ears to the voice of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so we could translate that. Any ideas of how you would do that, or we know what Holy Spirit is?
Remembrance of oneness.
Maybe we just need to make it shorter. How about just saying remembrance of oneness? The voice of the remembrance of oneness is a bit cumbersome, isn't it? To the remembrance of oneness opens your ears. So instead of voice, we might say opens your perception. Opens your ears. Because he's not really talking about physical ears, is he? It's just it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Or opens your mind to the remembrance of oneness. What do you think? Opens your mind, maybe.
Yeah, mind is better than perception.
I think mind is better than. Opens your mind to remembrance of oneness, whose message is wholeness. So healing and wholeness, it's the same root word, isn't it? Whole, heal. It's a movement towards oneness. His message is
wholeness. His message is wholeness. It will.
Wholeness and holiness. Take away the W.
Yeah.
Then an I there. Wholeness and holiness are again the same root word, same idea. It's pointing to really wholeness, oneness, healing. It all comes from the same root word.
Oneness. Yeah. It will enable you to go far beyond the healing you would undertake. It will enable you to go far beyond. So yeah. So I open my mind to the remembrance of oneness, and my willingness, together with its, will mean that I'll go far beyond what I could accomplish on my own. Yeah. For beside your small willingness to make whole, it will lay its own complete awareness and make yours whole.
Yeah. Okay.
What can the extension of perfect oneness, pure formless awareness not accomplish?
Find these, where are we? Where are we? With the fatherhood is source.
Mm-hmm.
The source of perfect oneness. Pure formless awareness in him. Okay. The invitation must come from you.
And yet the invitation must come from you, for you have surely learned that whom you invite as your guest will abide with you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, want to summarize that?
Yeah. That willingness to heal. Open. I'm indicating that I want to make whole. I want to join with the remembrance of oneness. And together it will enable me to go far beyond the healing that I could accomplish on my own. what pure formless awareness can, there's nothing it cannot accomplish. But I have to take the first step to invite this in. Yeah. So I want to join, make whole, go further than would ever dream of myself. But I have to take the courage to take the first step. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in complete awareness. I think it makes sense. You want to read it from the top?
Healing is a sign that you want to make whole, and this willingness opens your mind to the remembrance of oneness, whose message is wholeness. It will enable you to go far beyond the healing you would undertake, for beside your small willingness to make whole, it will lay its own complete awareness and make yours whole. What can the extension of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness not accomplish with the source of perfect oneness or pure formless awareness in him? And yet the invitation must come from you, for you have surely learned that whom you invite as your guest will abide with you.
Yeah, I think that reads quite well.
So number 4, what's it translated from? What can the extension of perfect oneness, so that would be Spirit, Holy Spirit, or God?
Son of God,
Son of God.
Son of God of extension of oneness. And will is awareness. He will lay his own complete will. So to make whole, it will lay its own complete awareness and make yours whole. Maybe we should, yeah, okay. I guess what he said, for beside your small willingness will lay. I get his metaphor then. So you have this little small willingness, you lay it at the altar, the foundation, and then its own complete awareness and make yours whole. Will be laid aside it, sort of a metaphor there. And what can you not accomplish with this source within you? But you must invite it in. If you deny it, denial, as he said in the previous paragraph, is as total as love. So if you deny any part of oneness, any part of love, then you deny it all. You split your mind and you create havoc, chaos and confusion in your mind. Okay, you gave a summary, didn't you, Iona? So,
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So we move on to number 5 then. Let me just make that. So, Kim, in the next year, we'll have these documents ready. So I'll then, in my emails and stuff, I'll send these out. Because I don't have the time. But as you can see, it takes quite a lot of time. Like, okay, well, let's do it in the sessions as part of the learning, and then next year we've got the actual documents for each lesson. I'll just link to it, and then you can read the original with the alternative, which I think is quite useful. As far as I know, no one else has done this. Done a translated version to another alternative non-Christian language. So then it's something unique to the art of letting go, which is also, I suppose, a good thing.
Yeah.
Want it? They've got to get a cheer. Okay, so the Holy Spirit. Do you want to read number 5?
The Holy Spirit cannot speak to an unwelcoming host because he will not be heard. The eternal guest remains, but his voice grows faint in alien company. He needs your protection only because your care is a sign that you want him. Think like him ever so slightly, and a little spark becomes a blazing light that fills your mind so that he becomes your only guest. Whenever you ask the ego to enter, you lessen his welcome. He will remain, but you have allied yourself against him. Whatever journey you choose to take, he will go with you, waiting. You can safely trust his patience, for he cannot leave a part of God. Yet you need far more than patience.
Okay, so let's do a little translation of that. So remember what the Holy Spirit is?
Remembrance of oneness.
Yeah.
Because it will not be heard.
Do not speak to an unwelcoming host, because it's just kind of obvious, because it's your own remembrance. It's not some entity outside of you. It's your own remembrance that you've now got to go, yes, okay, I want to remember this. I'm not going to deny this. So the eternal guest, that's the remembrance of oneness. By its voice. The voice grows faint in alien company.
Perception, but
voice, do you want to change voice? It's awareness, maybe? It's awareness grows faint in alien company.
I would keep voice, actually.
You like it?
Mm.
Voice grows faint in alien company. Just one moment. I'm just going to mute myself and I'm going to go elsewhere because my parents are going to go to sleep next door. So I just need to relocate briefly. So I'll just give me a minute. If you need a comfort break, now's a good time. And I'll just stop the recording.
What is it that you do, Kim? What's your job?
I work for a company that does software services in payments, and so I'm on the services side. You could say I do project management.
Right.
And it's pretty much the main banks in South Africa are our clients. So we fall under the Africa, Middle East, and Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. So some customers in Europe, like Poland and in Portugal, and then also in South Africa and some in Africa, like the rest of Africa as well.
Mm-hmm. That sounds very full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you sleep?
I do sleep, but that's why I'm not able to attend a lot of the sessions. So yeah.
Do you feel the benefit when you do?
Attending the sessions, yes.
That's good.
You need
sorry, what was I saying?
you need to go to spa.
Yeah. I actually did a couple of weeks ago. I had a voucher that I needed to use. It was amazing, but I feel like I need more for sure. No, it's good to have that relaxation and release and
love. She
healing.
got spa every day.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you're very extremely lucky, Iona.
I know. And sometimes I can't I talk about this quite a lot with Jono, because the ego creeps in and says, can it really be this good? You know, are you going to fall off a cliff, in the morning because it's been too good? Or You're having too much of a nice time, or life feels relaxed and manageable. Ego is very wily.
Mm.
Oh, it so is.
Yeah,
They
So-
attack us when we're not aware.
yeah.
I just find it's like, I mean, even it just doesn't stop.
No.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. True.
So difficult to just, I mean, yeah, even when doing these, like the meditate, or just doing the meditation, it's just like, even tonight, you know, it's like, okay, start coughing, and then it's like my toe, it's got this funny sensation. So I'm just like trying to observe the sensation, but it's just,
Oh.
Right.
it's the most persistent thing ever, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah. It's a part of everything. It's terrible.
Yeah, remember
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm back. Sorry about that. Just needed to revenue and took a comfort break and stuff. Okay, so let's start again from the top, shall we? So the Remembrance of Oneness cannot speak to an unwelcoming host because it will not be heard. The eternal guest remains, but the voice grows faint in the alien company. And you're saying voice rather than awareness. What do you think, Aina?
I like voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep voice.
Host and guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Further the symbolism. So it needs your protection. Only
It
because
needs your
you
protection
care.
only because
Yeah.
your care is a sign that you want it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why it needs your protection, or he needs your protection.
Protection, yeah. I mean, we could change that word. Needs your protection only because your care is a sign that you want it. I would say instead of protection, how about vigilance? What do you think? It needs your vigilance only because your care or your vigilance is a sign that you want it.
Attention, maybe.
I was just going to suggest that.
Attention instead of protection.
Attention.
Yeah.
Needs your attention.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. Only because your care could leave that, or we could say your vigilance. What do you think?
But being vigilant to the eternal guest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Your care is a sign that you want it. Could leave it as care or change it to, let's see, vigilance.
I'm okay with care.
I'm okay with care as well.
Okay. Your care is a sign that you want it. Okay. So you care about it, so you want it. Okay. Number 4.
Think like it ever so slightly, and the little spark becomes a blazing fire that fills your mind, so it becomes your only guest.
Okay. So he's used symbolism here, little spark, blazing light. We could change the symbolism if you want. We could say a little awareness becomes a blazing awareness, because that's what he really means. The little, how about this? Little willingness becomes a blazing awareness.
It works.
Yeah? How does that sound? Little willingness becomes a blazing awareness that fills your mind, so that it becomes your only guest. I think that works.
I think guess is important because it references the first sentence and the second.
Yeah, so we keep the guest because we kept the symbolism there. But the spark is really the willingness, isn't it? That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Spark is symbolic of willingness.
I mean, I do like the symbolism of blaze and fire and spark, but I understand that this is more of a it's
more direct.
Yes.
Yeah. So we keep the idea of it is you've got the original, so you can read that. You get the symbolism there.
Absolutely.
And then you read this and you go, oh, okay, well that's maybe gives me a different understanding of it. So a deeper understanding as a result of reading the translation. So really the spark is a willingness, isn't it? The spark is the willingness and the light is the awareness. So,
yeah.
Whereas I think, if you leave it, some people might not realize that. Okay, a little spark. It sounds lovely, very poetic imagery. But what does it actually mean? This is not referring to any kind of physical light at all.
Yeah.
And a blazing awareness. I mean, I've had the sense of, there's like this, such a transcendent kind of blazing. I mean, it's quite a good description, actually. It's just like radiating out in your awareness. It does actually feel like that to me anyway. So the word, the blazing will keep, I think.
Wonderful.
Blazing awareness fills your mind. So it becomes your only guest. And you do have a sense of, okay, this is all there is now in this moment. Okay, so happy with that. Number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5.
Whenever you ask the ego to enter, you listen, it's welcome.
Yeah. So the ego is, remember what the ego is?
No.
Yeah, it's a belief, isn't it? That's really what the ego is. So the belief in what?
Separation.
Yep. Because that's all it is. It's just a belief. So I think it actually takes the power away from the ego. Because the danger is you go, well, ego this, ego that, and you give it a kind of an identity because you've named it. But it's just a belief in separation. So the belief in separation now has many other beliefs. It has a whole thought system to support this one belief. And so it's just a belief. It's not an entity. It actually has no inherent reality. It's just a false belief. Okay.
You listen, it's welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it will remain.
To remain, but you have allied yourself against it.
Whatever journey you choose to take. It will go with you. Waiting. So that's a very nice image, isn't it? As you can take a very dark journey. Yeah, you can take the wrong road. it will go with you waiting. Always there, just waiting for your willingness. Your willingness to listen. Cannot leave a part of
Pure formless awareness or pure love.
perfect. I think we can alternate oneness and love. Are you happy with that? Perfect love, sometimes perfect oneness. Or do you think we should be consistent and just stick to the oneness? Or what do you feel?
Consistent is in like a chapter or within a section.
Well, consistent throughout the book, I suppose. So we always translate God as perfect oneness or pure formless awareness.
Okay, maybe perfect oneness then.
Rather than perfect love.
It works here, perfect love, but yeah, maybe just the oneness and formless awareness seem to go together.
What do you think, Ayana?
I quite like the just dipping in between. I think it keeps
But it changes
the reader on
their toes.
Yeah. Or it gives
love.
different, like a, helps to give
slightly different angle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just switch it if we feel like that's.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like God's Son, you can translate perfect oneness's Son or pure formless awareness's Son is cumbersome. So then you go perfect loves, and that just reads better, doesn't it? Because it's got to read well.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a translation where everyone goes, "Oh God, that's just awful. I can't read that."
Yeah.
It just doesn't. So that's why I've taken out the slashes. When I started, put slashes, but it just kind of makes it all slashed up, really. So that's why I'm saying perfect love, or because it flows more. Perfect love or pure formless awareness.
It's a slasher movie.
The slasher version, of course, in America.
Yes.
Join the art of letting go for the slasher version.
Slasher version.
No one's going to understand what you mean, are they?
No.
It's an in joke for those who still with us at 11:15 at night.
Yeah.
9:45 your time.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're nearly there. 2 more paragraphs, so not too much to go. Kim, do you want to read number 5? It's from the top.
The remembrance of oneness cannot speak to an unwelcoming host because it will not be heard. The eternal guest remains, but its voice grows faint in alien company. It needs your attention only because your care is a sign that you want it. Think like it ever so slightly, and a little willingness becomes a blazing awareness that fills your mind so that it becomes your only guest. Whenever you ask the belief in separate.
Pause there. Just unpack the first part of the paragraph. So you want to give a little summary of that?
Okay, the remembrance of oneness. I feel like I'm going to read it all again to give a summary because it cannot speak to an unwelcoming host, i.e., like if we can call it or Holy Spirit or remembrance of oneness. If one is I'm going back to the Christian language because otherwise I'm going to read the same thing. To an unwelcome host, i.e., myself, it will not be heard. But it remains. It's, I think I'm calling it. It's eternally patient. It's just that it sort of it gives us perception that it's fading away, it really needs your attention to know that you can call it welcome or you want it. And if you just ever so slightly you can show a little willingness, that becomes this blazing awareness. So it becomes like overwhelming, and that's all it is. So that you become it, i.e. you become the well, it refers to remembrance of oneness, but I could say you become part of pure formless awareness.
Yeah. So remembrance of oneness takes you back to perfect. Like, why don't we say? And then that kind of relates to there. What do you think? Remembrance of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good summary there. So it needs your attention, and this host. Who's the host then?
Let's say ego, or the separate. I'll separated one.
Well, the host is your mind. So we could, but I understand why he's used host, because then he uses guest. It's quite nice, host. You host a guest, don't you? So we'll keep it. Unwelcome host is the decision-making part of your mind. They can decide, yes, I want this. I'm going to listen to this voice, or no, I'm going to deny it. So this idea of the decision maker that can choose which voice it listens to, which is your decision making mind, that if you use it correctly will allow the Holy Spirit, remembrance of love, to come back in, and your mind then is host to the remembrance of love. Which, if you listen to it just a little, will become a blazing awareness. In other words, pure formless awareness, ultimately. So kind of makes sense when you phrase it like this, doesn't it? Remembrance of that awareness leads you back to that full awareness. Because of course that's going to happen. So remembrance of it, which isn't full yet, but you're remembering part of it. And if you keep doing that, then eventually you remember the whole thing, and you're back in pure formless awareness. So that it becomes your own guest. Well, I'd say maybe we have capitalized that. Little willingness becomes a blazing awareness, because it's referring here to truth. Your true awareness fills your mind so that it becomes your only guest. So that awareness is pure formless awareness. Okay. So then I'm going to read from number 5.
Whenever you ask the belief in separation to enter, you lessen its welcome. It will remain, but you have allied yourself against it. Whatever journey you choose to take, it will go with you, waiting. You can safely trust its patience, for it cannot leave a part of perfect love or pure formless awareness. Yet you need far more than patience. So it's saying, you're allowing that separation. As you allow the separation to kind of take over, you're lessening the pure formless awareness welcome. And pure formless awareness, it's always there, it's eternally patient, it's waiting for you to kind of invite it in and make it and have it be welcome again and give it attention again. So you can trust in that. It will not, it's all one, so I cannot leave any part of it. It's all one, so it's all there and waiting. But you need far more than patience. Well, that's interesting. It said you need far more than patience. Yet it says, earlier on it talks about a little willingness, but then you need far more than patience. I'm just wondering about that. Why there's a difference? What is meant by, but you need far more than patience?
Yeah. Well, I think he's saying you need willingness as well. You need far more than patience. We need the willingness to listen. And then, he's going to explain it in the next one.
Okay.
All right. So, happy with number 5? Okay, number 6.
You will never rest until you know your function and fulfill it. For only in this can your will and your Father's be wholly joined. To have him is to be like him, and he has given himself to you. You who have God must be as God, for his function becomes yours with his gift. Invite this knowledge back into your mind and let nothing that obscures it enter. The guest whom God sent you will teach you how to do this, if you but recognize the little spark and are willing to let it grow. Your willingness need not be perfect, because his is. If you will merely offer him a little place, he will lighten it so much that you will gladly let it be increased. And by this increase, you will begin to remember creation. Creation.
Okay. So I'm going to do a little translation.
You will never rest until you know your function and fulfill it, for only in this can your awareness and that of your source be wholly joined. To have it is to be. Oh no, we've got 2 hymns. To have it is to be like it, and it has given itself to you.
Yeah, maybe we should put in.
I think we should put a bit of perfect love in there.
Source. Yes. To have perfect love is to be. To have it is to be like perfect love. Your sources be wholly joined. Your awareness and your sources. Never rest, your function. Fulfill it. For only in this can your awareness and your sources be wholly joined. Okay, so to have it, your sources. Referring to him, the original was him. Yeah. To have him is to be like him. To have it, your awareness and your sources be wholly joined. To have, maybe we say this awareness. How about that? Have this awareness.
Yeah, good. It's to be like it.
It's to be.
Is to be as aware, is to be in the awareness.
How about that? To be it.
To be it. Neat.
Yeah, it is quite direct. To have this awareness is to be it.
And it has given itself to you.
Okay, happy with that?
All right, good. Yep, the awareness has been given to me. You who have perfect love, pure formless awareness, must be as such.
Perfect love, perfect oneness. There may be oneness here, man. You know. Must be as God. Must be as.
What can we
Suppose-
put such? Must be as such.
We
Or
could.
a repetition of perfect oneness. Mm-hmm.
You have perfect oneness or pure formless awareness. Must be. And let's keep it. See how it reads. I mean, it's a repetition, but as you say, it's kind of a, okay, it's like a minute, you know, you're saying it.
Okay.
You have perfect oneness or pure, must be as perfect oneness or pure formless awareness.
For its function becomes yours with its gift.
Its function became yours with its gift, right? So that I'm not comfortable with. Its function is yours.
Is yours with its gift.
You see, the idea of becoming is like, oh, so at one point it wasn't. It became that, and it wasn't at some point, you know. And that's not correct, is it? It never became anything. It's always been.
It's always been.
So then let's remove the time references. Create, became implies it was once not, and now, and then it became something. Where its functions is yours with its gift.
Invite this knowledge back into your mind and let nothing that obscures it enter.
Well, sorry, pause. What about as its gift?
Okay. The gift.
Its function is yours as its gift. That makes sense, doesn't it?
You who have perfect oneness must be as perfect oneness, for its function is yours as its gift. Pretty good.
I think that's nice.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
Invite this knowledge back into your mind and let nothing that obscures it enter. Good. The guest whom perfect oneness sent you will teach you how to do this. If you but recognize the little spark and are willing to let it grow, is that, yeah, let it grow.
Remember, spark was willingness.
Yes.
A little willingness.
Your willingness need not be perfect because its is. If you will merely offer it a little place, it will lighten it so much that you will gladly let it be increased. And by this increase, you can't read that next. Begin to remember.
Well, you will begin to remember.
You will begin to remember beingness.
Yeah. We could look at lighten, changing light. It will lighten it. If you merely offer it a little place, it will lighten it so much that you'll gladly let it be increased. Want to change that? It will, how about awaken it?
Yeah.
You merely offer it a little place, will awaken it so much. Willingness need not. So your willingness, he's talking about your willingness here. It will awaken it is your willingness. Maybe we say it will awaken, or it will strengthen. How about that? It will strengthen your willingness so much. Just read that sentence, see if it makes sense.
Yeah. If you will merely offer it a little place, it will strengthen your willingness so much that you will gladly let it be increased.
Yeah. As opposed to lighten it so much. Strengthen your willingness so much.
It's stronger.
Yeah.
And by this increase, you will begin to remember beingness.
In a little place, it will strengthen your willingness so much that you will gladly let it. So the it is your willingness he's referring to, but yeah, okay, well, we'll leave it as that. It could be a capital I there, but we'll leave it as a small I. Okay, so you want to read it from the top?
You will never rest until you know your function and fulfill it, for only in this can your awareness and your sources be wholly joined. To have this awareness is to be it, and it has given itself to you.
Maybe that should be what do you think? That should be a cap.
Yeah.
It's your will. Only in this can your will and your Father's be wholly joined. Okay. But what he's really talking about is your true awareness. Your awareness and your sources be wholly joined. And then to have this awareness.
Got it. Yeah.
The caps is, as we know, a bit problematic in course. But let's try and be consistent with it. Okay.
To have this awareness is to be it, and it has given itself to you. You who have perfect oneness or perfect formless awareness must be as perfect oneness or pure formless awareness, for its function is yours as its gift. Invite this knowledge back into your mind, and let nothing that obscures it enter. The guest whom perfect oneness or pure formless awareness sent you will teach you how to do this. If you but recognize the little willingness and are willing to let it, grow, yes, your willingness need not be perfect because its is. If you will merely offer it a little place, it will strengthen your willingness so much that you will gladly let it be increased. And by this increase, you will begin to remember beingness. So just to clarify that last sentence, by this increase, I'll begin to remember my I amness. Yes. Yes, my oneness. Okay.
So as your willingness gets stronger, you listen more and more to the remembrance of oneness.
Yes.
Mind, your willingness gets stronger, and you gladly let your willingness be increased. Strengthen your willingness that you will gladly let be increased, so that you become more and more willing, and by this increase, you begin to remember beingness. Because it is the remembrance, the increase in willingness is the willingness to remember what you've forgotten.
Yeah.
You begin to remember your beingness.
Thank you.
Which is creation.
Yeah.
Okay, happy with that?
Yeah.
Question
around, so if you show little willingness, I mean, I'm just putting that into the practical terms, which sounds very practical in itself. I'm trying to say it more from it, like the experience of willingness. Is it's really about surrendering? Is it because it's willingness is more, how do I put it? It's not a particular action, but it's maybe a sort of like an attitude of openness. And because I mean, you can have that like striving, willing, I'm willing, and you're like, That feels like it's coming from ego, like I'm willing, like let's will it along.
Yeah,
Or is it more like that surrender, let it go?
Well, it's like a deeper,
I'm open to the
like,
guest
yes,
coming. I'm guest.
I'm really willing to take on this journey. I'm willing to listen to the Holy Spirit. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to let go of what I need to let go of. I'm up for this. And it's a decision in your mind, isn't it? To say, yes, okay, I'm willing. And I know it's not necessarily going to be easy, but I'm willing to walk the path. And that's what he's talking about. And it's like a deeper, it's not the, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make my ego goals happen. It's like something much deeper in your mind. So yeah, I'm willing to heal my mind. I'm willing to really listen to the voice of God. I'm willing to let go of all my illusions. I'm willing to ultimately let it all go. I'm willing to let go of my personal identity and this entire world. And that's kind of a deeper level of willingness than he's referring to. You could use the same, willingness for the ego, but it's not doesn't feel the same. Your willingness to do whatever it takes to meet an ego goal is not going to be the same depth of willingness as this willingness he's asking you to give. It's the willingness to undo everything you believe, to undo your entire personal identity, to undo the world. And this is the willingness he's asking for. So it's a big ask to start with. He's saying, well, offer a little bit of willingness and it's going to strengthen it. So you will gladly let it be increased. As you see its benefits, you gladly let this willingness be increased. And then as you do this, you begin to remember beingness, who you really are. And that's the Atonement. Okay. So Iona, do you want to give a little summary of that? And we'll do number 7.
So as long as, I understand that first sentence says that I will never have peace unless I know my function and fulfill it. Yeah. It has been given to me. It's a gift. He's saying, invite it back into your mind and let nothing get in the way. The guest is the Remembrance of Oneness. It teaches me how to do this. But I need to show that little willingness and allow it to grow. It can be imperfect, but from this little seed, my willingness will grow and I'll be glad, and I will gladly let it increase. And the more I let it increase, the more it will take me back to my original source of I amness. Yes.
Yeah, nice summary.
Thank you.
Okay, so happy with number 6? Any questions on that? Shall we move on to number 7? Which is Kim's turn, I think.
Would you be hostage to the ego or host to God? You will accept only whom you invite. You are free to determine who shall be your guest and how long he shall remain with you. Yet this is not real freedom, for it still depends on how you see it. The Holy Spirit is there, although he cannot help without your invitation. And the ego is nothing whether you invite it in or not. Real freedom depends on welcoming reality of your guests. Only the Holy Spirit is real. Then who abides with you merely by recognizing what is there already? And do not be satisfied with imaginary comforters, for the comfort of God is in you.
Okay, so do some translation. So giving hostage to the ego is the
belief of separation. Pure formless awareness probably could work there.
okay. Has to how about that? I think that works quite nicely. Host to perfect love. Okay.
Okay.
Carry on.
You will accept only whom you invite. You are free to determine who shall be your guest and how long he shall remain with you. Yet this is not real freedom, for it still depends on how you see it. The remembrance of oneness, is that right? Remembrance of oneness,
Yeah.
Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
is there, although it cannot help you without your invitation. And the ego is, or the belief in separation is nothing, whether you invite it in or not. Real freedom depends on you welcoming reality, and of your guests, only the remembrance of oneness is real. Know then who abides with you merely by recognizing what is there already, and do not be satisfied with imaginary comforters. The comfort of God is in you.
Okay. Actually, let's change that. Only remembrance of love is real. And I think we should put a comma there. Of your guests, comma, only the, what do you think? I think a comma kind of works there. Know then who abides with you merely by recognizing what is there already. Do not be satisfied with imaginary comforters, for the comforter of God is in you. So the comforter of perfect love, or is in you. Okay, I'm going to read that from the top.
Would you be hostage to the belief in separation or host to perfect love? You will accept only whom you invite. You are free to determine who shall be your guest and how long he shall remain with you. Yet this is not real freedom, for it still depends on how you see it. The remembrance of love is there, although it cannot help you without your invitation. And the
Just
belief in
pause there. I
separation.
think we change this to perceive it.
Yeah.
Is perceive. Okay.
Okay.
So from the
Remembrance
remembrance
of love is there, although it cannot help you without your invitation. And the belief in separation is nothing whether you invite it in or not. real freedom depends on welcoming reality. And of your guess, only the remembrance of love is real. Know then who abides with you merely by recognizing what is there already, and do not be satisfied with imaginary comforters, for the comforter of perfect love or pure formless awareness is in you.
Okay. Should we take that out, see how that reads? Nice.
Mm.
I think that reads nicely. So, yeah, any thoughts on that?
Okay, so I think as you, as in, I'm thinking it would be your mind, could invite either pure formless awareness or the ego, and you can determine who your guests will be or who you're inviting. But it's not actually real freedom to do that, because it's, your perceptions, it depends how you perceive it. Your perceptions can change and different depending on who you invite. So the Holy Spirit cannot help you with without the invitation. It needs to be invited. Belief in separation or ego is nothing. So that is the truth, that it's nothing, whether you invite it or don't invite it. And then out of the ego or belief in separation versus pure formless awareness, it's only the remembrance of love that it's real. Remembrance of love, I think, is Holy Spirit. Do not be satisfied by things that you might perceive to be comforting, which could come from the ego as external. So what it is, that's the true comforters of perfect love or source or God is in you, not via these imaginary comforters or something external that the belief in separation or ego have you believe that that's what you need to bring in.
Yeah, imaginary comforters are illusions, false idols.
Okay.
Comfort of perfect love. Do you want to put in perfect love or pure formless awareness, or just leave it as perfect love? What do you think? Sort of vacillating.
I'll leave it as perfect love.
Yeah, Iona, happy?
That's nice.
I think so. Yeah. Sort of wanted to read well as well. Okay. So any thoughts on that paragraph? Any questions? Thanks for the summary. So either of you, do you want to have a crack at summarizing the whole thing in a minute or two? What's like the key? What's the key message in this? I'll go back to the title just so you remember. It's the invitation to healing.
The invitation to healing. Well, he's being pretty direct here. He's saying that we really need it. Can you scroll down?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He's saying recognize what you truly want. We really, each son of God, each extension of perfect love needs this healing. Can keep going down. Yeah. yeah, the more you practice healing, the closer you're joining with the source of perfect oneness. Each healing thought teaches me that I'm the extension of perfect oneness.
So tell you what you're going to do. I want to challenge you. Do it from memory.
Oh, that's a challenge.
Just what's the key takeaway? You don't have to go through the. We've done the detail. What's the high level?
Yeah.
If you were going to summarize this in a minute, someone said, okay, so what have you just spent an hour, 2 hours, in fact, reading?
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Summarize it in a minute.
Well, I started doing this by saying every extension of perfect love needs this healing. Otherwise, we dive into chaos and confusion in our lives. We will never get peace. Invite in the oneness. Be very vigilant for anybody who is not invited, to keep that analogy going. There's no point in looking at my book, is there?
No, because it's the whole point is, what did you understand from it?
Yes, that's right.
You take away. Okay, so high level, if you can say with each section, okay, in a minute or two, I can summarize the key message. Then you kind of got a grip on the whole course. If you could do that, imagine being able to go through the whole course and give a minute summary on each section and say, okay, here's the high level summary of what this is.
Okay.
And then.
Well, I think I've done it quite well then. It was the invitation to heal. But the I've forgotten a key bit. I have to extend the invitation. Oh, she's gone.
No. I don't know if that was accidental or because there we go, she's back. We're nearly finished anyway. So like the idea of the summary is like in a minute, like let's say you just spent 2 hours studying this and someone said, in a minute, can you tell me what the key message is?
No, it's
really focuses the mind.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what's the key takeaway here?
Have I not said it?
I think so. Yeah, you kind of there's a couple more things that I think I would add in there.
Right.
So the whole thing was willingness. Remember, it's like your little willingness.
That's what I said. I have to extend the. No, I didn't say willingness. You're right. I have to extend the. So
it's an invitation, but it's the willingness to listen, and then that willingness grows. The more you listen to this voice, the more the willingness grows, and this eventually grows into the whole awareness of pure formless awareness or love, and then you are one with it, and you realize that this is who you are, and this is your beingness. And that's really the summary, isn't it? It's just.
But it says the invitation to healing, so I've got to accept that. I've got to willingly accept that invitation, invite it in, say yes, and recognize that there's no peace until I fully embrace healing.
And he's saying start with a little willingness, because you don't have to have the full, by definition, you don't have the full awareness yet. But it starts with a little willingness to say, okay, yes, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've had enough. There must be a better way. I'm willing to heal. I'm willing to really do something different.
Does he not also say that it can be imperfect, small and imperfect? Yes, because.
Which is why it's the spark. It's not the full light, but it's the little spark. Okay, I'm just willing. And that's where it starts. Transformation in anyone's mind starts with, okay, I'm willing to just do something different here. I'm willing to look at it differently.
Yeah.
I need something else.
Yeah.
And that's when the healing really starts, when someone's in that position. Yeah. And often it's when they're at the bottom of the barrel of the ego. And it's really a dark place, because then they go, okay, enough. I can't do this anymore. I can't take it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to open my mind. I'm willing, whatever, help me, Someone in the darkest night says, help me. That's a little willingness, isn't it? To allow the spirit in.
It is. And we can keep extending that willingness with help me, show me.
Well, as you listen to it more and more, so what you're doing here, you start off with a little willingness to do this course, and then it grows, doesn't it? So, okay, well, how, are you willing to really commit to this and really go into this process of healing your mind, and really do this mind training properly. That's what you're being asked to do, and you're doing it by showing up every day, saying, okay, the little willingness is growing into a huge willingness. Yeah, I'm really, in fact, this is my only will, is to learn this. This is the whole point of my life. So I'm absolutely willing. But it doesn't generally, healing doesn't start with that. It starts with a little invitation, which can then grow into the blazing light that he talked about.
Yes.
So that's the kind of, that's what he's saying, isn't he? In 7 paragraphs and many, how he does. I mean, imagine writing this. It's quite something to have written this. You're going wow, to actually write this, and it's quite amazing. But in the end, what it's about is can you get the key message? Okay, that's the key message. I get it. It's actually really simple. Through all of the complexity of this text, if you can simplify it into a high level summary. So why don't we try it? Sue was against this, but it's let's experiment. Why don't you try, Iona? I'll ask someone at the end of each lesson, each section, to summarize it. Summarize it in 1 paragraph, and write that out tomorrow as part of your practice. Write it out and send it to me, and we'll look at it or just in the session, and we'll look at it, because I think that could be really, really valuable, like a 1 paragraph summary. Okay, so here's the high level summary. You put it at the end. You say, okay, so the executive summary is duh. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't read the whole thing. It just means okay, read it, go through it. Okay, summary, and really it's just learning, isn't it? Just trying to get people to learn this course in an easier, more effective way. That's all we're trying to do here. So if you're willing to do that, I mean, no obligation, but give it a try. Can you write a 1 paragraph summary of this? So maybe 2-3 sentences summarizing the essence, the key point. So you can't go into too much detail. It's just the key point of this is what it's saying.
The invitation to healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone, we'll try and do it with everyone. I'll give everyone a little bit of homework. Say, okay, well, can you do 1 paragraph?
Yeah.
Having read this.
Yeah.
And you'll probably find that it helps your own learning as well, but it's also, for other people. So if we can stick in something at the end here and go, okay, well, here's the executive summary. I think it adds a huge amount of value to the whole thing. It's okay, well, I'm getting executive summary from someone, not someone who's just casually read this. You've read this and translated it, and it's so out of that process comes an understanding that took maybe 2 hours, 3 hours to achieve. Well, that's valuable while it's fresh in your mind.
Yes.
So before we move on to another one. So yeah.
I think that would be valuable. I think it's a good idea. I'm wincing because Kenneth's massaging my arm.
Really? Okay. Not because, oh God, he's giving me homework to do. But
that too. So it's a double whammy.
Double whammy. Yeah.
And it's 10:30 at night, and I need to go to sleep earlier than I usually manage. So, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. So we leave it there. Let's do a little 2-minute closing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in.
Yes.
And just breathe in this presence of love, the remembrance of love, of pure formless awareness, your perfect oneness. It's in your mind that this lesson was speaking to. This is the only remembrance you need to cultivate. So just in your heart and your mind, say, I'm really willing to go there. I'm willing to do this. I'm really willing to listen to this voice and this voice only, and I'm willing to give it just a little willingness to start with. Yes, I'm willing to listen and let it come into my mind and make this little spark of willingness into a blazing light, the light of true awareness, my true awareness, pure formless awareness. And I'm willing to take this journey, and I'm willing to allow this to happen. So it is said, and so it is done. So I'm willing to heal and to be healed. Amen. And carry this willingness with you into your sleep and into tomorrow, until our next session tomorrow afternoon. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim, Iona, Kenneth,
Yeah.
thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm really enjoying these sessions. I think, and we'll have in the end we'll have a translated version of the course out of it. So
All right.
yeah,
Good night.
co-create.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
night.
Okay. Night. I'll see you too. Are you joining tomorrow afternoon? Iona?
Yeah, should be okay. Should be all right.
Lovely.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Quite a lot to do.
Namaste.
But
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
we'll see.
We fix it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Night night.
Okay.
You
Good night,
all.
Kim.
Good night. Good night. Bye.
Do you want to have a quick chat or not?
I'm